I started.
So you started already? Okay, great. Is this on? Yeah, is this on? Hi, we're just going to here at the Whole Foods at Canby in Vancouver, and I'm just going to record this for YouTube. There's a really neat combination of soup, juice, and ice cream that I've been making here over the last few days as we've been selling these here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make finally a sort of more refined version of the pad thai soup that I've been making earlier in the subscription. A really nice green smoothie and a raspberry cashew sorbet. Everything's going to be vegan. It's actually really a lot of fun. Now the Vitamix that we're going to use here is the stainless steel TNC. We have them here when we're doing the Whole Foods. We have them in red, we have them in black, we have them in white, which is great. And I'll be listing the ingredients here. Actually, what I'll do here is I'll put the ingredients on this display, and then we'll just zoom in close to see it easier, and so all the customers will have an easier time to find out, what this list will be. So the tomatoes and the celery and the carrots, and we'll be using a Thai basil and got some other ones here, and the kaffir lime. So just coming a little closer, and just so you can see that a little easier. We're also going to include a good amount of shredded coconut as well. So that's basically the ingredients. I'll be throwing in a couple of extra things, but not really much else. Like for example, like a couple of soup cubes, and this is actually all going to go in here right now. So let's take a look at that. There is really no order to put this in, so we're going to put in coconut and a couple of soup cubes. These are actually a vegan soup cube. You can buy these. You can make your own soup stock as well. I'm going to make enough soup that it justifies 2 of these. These are a lot milder flavored than a lot of the other bouillon cubes you can see. Just like with the Vitamix, you just put it in as you see it. If you want to cut it up, that's fine. You don't have to cut it up. We have a little bit of basil. I actually put in a sprig of Thai basil, and this is where you really start getting the flavor of a Thai soup, because you start to use what the kaffir, K-A-F-F-I-R, lime leaves. I don't know who thought it was a good idea to start eating the leaves. Maybe there were other lemons that day, I don't know, but they really taste good. And then we're going to throw in some lime juice. I'm not going to use the inside of the lime, I'm just going to use the juice part. It tastes really good that way. I'm just thinking in the back of my mind if this is enough ingredients. I think that's going to be good. So that's what the recipe will be right there. Now if you want to make this a little bit more of a fuller flavor, a little piece of apple helps to just round out the flavors. Because remember, you're making the soup in 5 minutes, very fast. Now let's toss in some water. If you put in cold water, this will take about 8 or 9 minutes. If you put in hot water, it'll take somewhere around, well, boiling water will take 1 minute. I'm going to go somewhere in between. We're just going to use some coffee temperature water. Okay? And that's a couple of cups. It's going to do the balance of the heating. So it looks hot now, but it will look a lot hotter when you take it out. The Vitamix, the friction from the blade does the heating. It will boil these soups. But that would take about 11 minutes to boil. It takes about 8 minutes to get hot. Now as you run the Vitamix machine, it's always a good idea to start it off at the lowest speed, only 500 revolutions a minute. Then you dial that up. If you ever needed to use the tamper to push the ingredients down, I got one around here somewhere, then you would, but as you can see, I didn't really need to use that. And then you flick it up on the high speed. That's what it sounds like. Now, I want to make a green smoothie and a sorbet while this is being made. So let's take a look at the amount of steam right now. Virtually nothing. Remember, it got really cool in there when we put all those ingredients in. I want to emulsify the coconut. I want to get the lime and the leaves all chopped up. So that's a great flavor right there. Remember, just toss it in, toss it up. Meanwhile, let's make a green smoothie and a nice green smoothie and a raspberry sorbet, all while that is heating up. You can do this at home if you like. You were asking me, one of the people in the audience was asking about how can we make this more like a juicer, or act a little bit more like a spinner, right? What I'm going to do here is I'm going to make this beet juice. The thing that I didn't want to do, if I just use about the 5 apples that it takes to make this much juice, if I actually put those apples in, the drink would be way too thick. So what we're using here, again, I'm just going to put this together. Oh, we're not going to leave the cell phone out. This is not like some of those other blenders where all they do is grind up cell phones and hope to buy the machine. We're going to put in some beet, some celery, some carrots, a bit of pineapple, and we're using a bit of quality apple cider. So there's our ingredients right there. It's not the best presentation, but it's not going to look any better when you're at home. So just stuff it in, right? That's the nice thing about it. Now I'm going to go an extra couple of steps. If you want to include some other excellent flavoring, some things that I actually recommend, even though it seems a little odd, then I've been doing this here to help with the understanding of Asian cooking. Add a little bit of bitter, add a little bit of salt. These are actually going to bring out more nutritional benefits. You can even add things like, sorry, this is all on my mind, so I want to make sure it gets out in the drink. You can add a little bit of tarragon, forget about the kaffir lime leaves, a little bit of tarragon, and even some of that basil that I've been using, so that you can further increase the influence of the flavors. Some people put in ginger, sometimes it gets a little overdone. This is a great way to get away from that as a continuous thing. A little bit of ice, maybe. Remember, now what's going to happen is you're going to be able to say, listen, we can make it any consistency we want. And that's the part I love about this. Turn it down, turn it on, crank it up, let it go. And that's all we're doing. It's the same thing over and over again. Again, we're just going to show this again. Start at low, because at that variable setting, it's very easy to run the machine without worrying about things jostling around too much. And as you crank that up to the speed you want, nothing's going to move around. Then fire that on high speed. Now we're doing this live, so you can see really how long it really does take. We're not going to stop the demo anywhere. You can see the soup's still being made. That should take only about 5 minutes. The juice is being made right now. This is a beet and carrot and apple juice. And this is typically when I stop. Remember, I'm normally answering a lot of questions, so it's kind of funny doing this demo without all those interruptions. So if you're coming closer, this is what's called the blend test. So a lot of people like to see this. That took about 30 seconds. We've just been able to eliminate the structure from the beet and the carrot, and that's what you can do at home if you're concerned that you had it done. But generally, you just take a look at the drink. Now, that's a great way to convince your kids that the drink isn't going to have lumps in it. Now, if you're trying to convince yourself for the first time that this is maybe a good drink to have, you want to market this to yourself. This is what it looks like when you put it in a beautiful glass, and then you can finish that off with something, in this case, just to augment that a little bit. I'm sure this will look nicer with maybe a little bit of some of these edible flowers you can buy at Whole Foods, just like that. I mean, seriously, who's not going to get into having something that looks like that? That's a beautiful morning drink. So again, we're marketing this to ourselves. Now here at the Whole Foods, the only hassle is I'm only allowed to hand out small samples. So you imagine that when you're drinking it out of the Dixie cup. Ding, 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 ding. So anyway, I'll let this, actually I can't let this sit aside. I'll pour this into a container. Actually, if you guys want to have a little bit right now, and I'll make the ice cream in just a second, I want you guys to see what it's like. Here we go. You can see how nicely that pours. It's a beautiful drink. That's awesome. And what I'll actually do here again is I'll present this a second time so that we can see the end results at the end of the demo. So there's that. We'll keep that at the side for now, and we'll show all three of them together. Now the cleanup with the Vitamix, you never have to take the plate assembly apart. You can take the plate assembly apart. It's actually easy to do if you have anything stuck, but that's actually the cleanup. Now we're going to go with a dairy-free sorbet. This is just, this is all being done live, so I have to figure this out fast, which is fine. I can do that. Here are some cashews. Just toss those in there. You can use yogurt if you want. Cashews, a little bit of water, or some juice concentrate if you want. That gets it a little tiny bit thinner. If you want to be a little bit more of an exotic flavor, you can use some coconut in there. You can infuse that flavor with coconut. I have some of these amazing small bananas here. These are, well, they're the small bananas, right? They call them baby bananas, but they're actually fully ripe bananas. It's a much fuller flavor than you would get with the regular bananas. It's worth the extra bit of money for them, for sure. We'll finish this off with some raspberries. So we've got tropical and North America combined together in here. This is where you really need to use the tamper. So we're going to put this in here, turn it on, turn it up, push the ingredients on the blade. See how the tamper gets that mix in there? What do you think of that? Isn't that nice? I mean, seriously, it's a thin. It's got lots of flavor. It's thin. And here we're going to make a raspberry sorbet here. And the tamper just keeps it moving. This is totally vegan. There's not even any dairy product in this. That's what I love about it. So that's the sound we want. You see how it's moving now. Once it catches, it makes that growling sound. That growling sound means we're having success. There we are. So that's all you're looking for to do. Is that thin enough? Is that thin? It's pretty thin. There we go. It's done. Almost fell out. But that's good. It's near the end of the day, but that's all right. At least I knew that. The last thing you want to do in the middle of these demos is to have something actually follow, because it looks like a failure. So here's a really nice, there you go. It's got a really nice smooth texture to it. So we've got that there. And let's take a look at the soup here. The soup is so just remember, the bit about the sorbet is the more room temperature ingredients you put in there, and that banana was a room temperature, the more likely that it will act with, it just won't be sitting up as much. But it's such a good flavor, you'll find it's just go, whatever, it's just fantastic. Now we've got a wonderful hot soup. Now we're going to finish this off with some cilantro and some basil. I'm sorry, that's not basil, that's spinach. And again, we're going to go back then to some more tomato. These ingredients we already put in the soup at the beginning, but now we're going to finish it off at the end. You can use the Vitamix as its pulse feature is just over here. You can switch it from the low to the high for a couple of seconds there, and that's finishing it off there. So let's take a look at what we just made here. We made a sorbet that was totally dairy-free, that has the cashews in it, and that's this one here. You've got this wonderful beet juice. We also have this beautiful Thai soup that, again, the recipe, I'll actually show the recipe for all of these at the end. That's amazing how quickly. That takes about, I don't know how long this video will take. We'll determine that. You can actually determine that yourself. It's so easy. There. Thank you very much. I think that's it.
Cut.